Speaker McCarthy is out with a statement today. He's calling it a dark day for the United States of America. It is unconscionable for a president to indict this president, he's speaking about, of course, is President Biden, for a president to indict the leading candidate opposing him. Joe Biden kept classified documents for decades. I and every American who believes in the rule of law stand with President Trump against this grave injustice. House Republicans will hold this brazen weaponization of power accountable. Let's unpack that for a second. First of all, the assertion that Joe Biden is indicting his opponent, his political opponent, Donald Trump.
No evidence of that whatsoever. We have a process whereby, I mentioned earlier, Smith has to have this approved by the Attorney General. I haven't seen any reporting that it was tipped off or involved the White House. It shouldn't be. If there was a smoking gun about that, we'd report on that. So, yeah, you have an attack that starts with a lie. The allies of the president have every right to make their defense, which can include trying to say Trump didn't do it, which is hard because, as mentioned, he's confessed to much of this.
Yes, publicly and repeatedly.
They can also make a different argument, which is called selective prosecution, that if you look under everybody's files and under everybody's conduct, sooner or later, that's a version of Pence or Biden had a version of this, and this is selective prosecution. Now, those are arguments you're allowed to make in court, but you need evidence, and selective prosecution arguments don't do as well when there's stacked crimes, or when your former lawyer might become a witness against you, because it looks like something that came up from the facts rather than down from selective prosecution. But they have every right to make those claims. The deeper point here is, you know, when you look at Fast and Furious or the Marvel universe and you're like, how many sequels? Like, what's a 10th or a 15th film? Like, this one's not even a sequel, right?
They just keep going.
The hits just keep coming. I've seen so many versions of this argument, of this, shall we say, lying, turgid movie plot that never land. I mean, Bill Barr appointed John Durham for exactly these series of arguments, and our viewers, I think, follow this. Y'all remember, it wasn't that long ago that after years, unfettered prosecutorial powers, you can interview, you can subpoena, you can arrest and detain, you can indict, just like Jack Smith can indict. Problem for Durham was, after all that, with years, he had 2 cases he brought to trial. He lost both of them. Yeah. And so we still have a system of laws in this country. We've reported in many ways about when it comes up short. But in the main, it's overseen by independent judges with the backstop of juries. And if you give juries something, in my experience, and there are exceptions, but generally, something that has a really strong, clear factual pattern, they usually go with it. And if you give them something less than that, they will stand up to it. And so that's what happened to these claims. They have every right to make them. We'll report on them. I've had some of those folks. I had Matt Gaetz on my program to discuss these type of weaponization arguments. But the only thing that matters for Donald Trump, the only thing standing between him and a jumpsuit and a lot of prison time is a trial and a jury. It's not Kevin McCarthy's op-eds. It's not someone coming along 3 years later and trying to re-rack and redo another Fast and Furious with the same plot, which is womp womp. Durham not only couldn't prove anything, he couldn't win the low-level cases he brought. And by the way, those cases were not against a Mueller or a Biden. It was just other stuff he couldn't win. So, yes, we have this system. When we see credible reports here on MSNBC, obviously, we'll report on them and track them down. But this don't end on Breitbart. It doesn't end on Reddit. It ends in a courtroom.
Yes, a point that cannot be stated enough.